Okay, Shannon, put us on the record, please. Okay, I have two petitions in front of me today. We've got Lewis, Eubanks, and Bradshaw minors in one file and 3 Bradshaw minors in the other. And I've got one more person to let into the hearing room. Rights. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me see. We've got Emily Schell here on behalf of DHHS, Scott Norkey as well. And let's see, I've got 2 parents here. You are Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, what's your first name?
Samuel.
Samuel. Sorry, I'm just fixing the screen so I don't have to remember your name in the future. And let's see, we have mother of some of the children. Let's see. You are Yanessa, and I'm sorry, I've seen different versions of your last name. What's your current last name?
Eubanks.
Eubanks, that's what I thought. The petition says Lewis.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to fix your screen as well. So we will need to fix that petition. I'm assuming you were known by the last name of Lewis at some time in the past?
Yes, when I was married.
Okay. And Eubanks has been your name since when?
October 16 of 2018.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to fix my copy. Of the petition to show your correct last name. And Michelle, are Mr. Bradshaw and Ms. Eubanks the only respondents in these petitions?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You each received a copy of the petitions that were filed?
Yes.
Yes.
The court rules require me to read the petition out loud on the record. Is that necessary?
No, are you?
No.
No.
Yeah, you can waive that requirement, and that's what I was asking you. Most people do. You do have a number of rights in this proceeding, and I want to advise you of those rights. You have a right to an attorney, either one of your choosing or one appointed for you by the court. Do either of you wish to have me appoint an attorney to represent you in these matters?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we will take care of that. Currently, these 2 files obviously are related, but the 2015 file in which you are named as a respondent, Ms. Eubanks, is actually currently assigned to Judge Rapley. I think it doesn't make any sense that each of us independently handle these because they arise out of the same nucleus of facts. So either I will be handling both cases going forward, or Judge Rapley will be handling both of them. We'll get that figured out before your next hearing. For the meantime, I'm going to schedule both of them to be in front of me unless I hear differently from the clerk's office. If things get changed, we'll certainly let you know. We will appoint attorneys for you. There is also Mr. Ivan Brown has been identified as the lawyer guardian ad litem, the attorney who's appointed to represent the best interests of the children. We will not be able to complete the preliminary hearing today because none of these attorneys are present or available. So we'll get these adjourned to finish up next Tuesday, presumably next Tuesday, unless you hear differently. Those will be in front of me at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, January 12th. Okay, in addition to the right to counsel, which applies both in the current proceeding and in any appeal that you might take from those proceedings, you may be held responsible to reimburse the county for the cost of your court-appointed attorney, but that will be based on your ability to pay. You do have the right to a trial, either by a judge or by a jury if you make a timely jury demand. You do have the right today, if you choose, to admit, deny, or offer an explanation to the petitions. My advice to you is that you not do anything today, but you wait until you have an opportunity to speak to counsel. Having advised you of that, do either of you wish to make a statement today?
No.
You do have the right to appeal an order removing your children from your care. That right attaches at the time a dispositional order is entered. Let me ask you, do either of you or any other parent of the various children that are identified in these two petitions have any Native American ancestry to your knowledge?
No.
Because your children have been placed outside of your home, the agency does have an obligation to prepare an initial service plan. Your participation in that plan is voluntary, absent a court order. It wouldn't be a court order until, assuming the court adjudicates this matter, and those sorts of things show up in a order of disposition. We're not there yet. On a motion of a party, the court will review that plan and modify it if it's in the best interest of the children. So let me ask you, Ms. Schell, where are all these children currently placed?
So Samari, Ayana, and Cassidy Bradshaw are released to their mother, Brianna Johnson's care under supervision of DHS. And then Michael Lewis Jr., Jaheim Lewis, Braylon Lewis, Valley Lewis, and Cameron Lewis were released into their father, Michael Lewis Sr.'s care under supervision of DHS. Janasia Eubanks was released into her father's care, Travis Treadway, under supervision of DHS. August Bradshaw was placed with a department for care and supervision, and so was Kylene Lewis.
I'll need her to send all that information to me.
Will you be able to email all of that information to Shannon, please, when you get a
Yes.
chance? And are Kylie and August going to be going into foster care?
Yes.
Have suitable relatives been explored for either of them?
Yes, it's a relative's home they'll be placed in.
Oh, okay. And you've determined that that relative's home is appropriate?
Yes. August is already in the home, and then once Kylan is released from the hospital, he will be going there as well.
All right, well, good. So none of these children are actually in foster care. That's good. I was going to advise the parents that we always give preference to placement with a relative if a suitable relative is available. Looks like that's the case.
Excuse me, Judge. May I ask a question?
Of course.
Me and Samuel agree. Well, we wanted our kids, August and Kai, to be placed with their grandma or with their aunt. They've been staying with their aunt. And I was asked, did I want them to stay together? And they said yes. So they removed my daughter and put her with my uncle. And she has never been with him, not ever. She has never even seen him. And then his
Which
grandma,
daughter?
August,
Which daughter is?
my 2-year-old.
Oh, August is a girl.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's what threw me. I didn't realize that. So I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, and me and Samuel were under the assumption that that's where she was staying. So last night they removed her and took her to Donnell Eubanks, which is my uncle, but she should not have been placed there. She's with her aunt. His grandma also said that she would take the kids, and they did not give the kids to her. They just put my kids wherever they chose. They didn't ask me, and when they did the opposite at 10 o'clock last night.
And also, if I can intervene, that medical report, it would state that there are old documented bruising and scratches of our son Kylan that came from the Eubanks home. Also, the male treatment that they're accusing us of doing, we have always complained about our son's weight during their reunification. So we have an issue with the kids going in that home. We prefer them to either go back to my sister or go to my grandma's if possible.
Yes, and Don
Right.
also refused.
Judge, I can speak to the placement if you would like.
Please do so.
So Kylan was in a guardianship for pretty much the first 3 years of his life. And that was at the Eubanks home where he is going to be placed and where August is placed right now. So we wanted to keep him and August together. And due to the fact that Kylan does have some medical issues when he is discharged, and the fact that the Eubanks had him in their care for 3 years, we felt that that would be the most appropriate place for Kai at this time. And we did not want to separate August and Kai. So that's why we put August there last night. And when Kai gets released from the hospital, that's where Kai will go. Now, I informed Samuel and Yanessa that if they provide us names, dates, birth dates, phone numbers, addresses of any other relative they would like us to pursue, that we will take that information and pass it to our foster care team, and they will pursue those relatives as far as possible placements. But that is why right now those two children are placed, Kai is, when he's released, will be placed in the Eubanks home.
All right, and let me tell both parents, at some point, the court can look into specific placement decisions by the agency and override those decisions if it's in the best interest of the children. But I can only do that after I conduct a placement hearing. Otherwise, when I take remove children and place them in the care of the agency ultimately is the one that makes the decision what's in the best interest of the children. and I can only override that after I conduct what's called a placement hearing. I can't do that today, but once we get your attorneys involved, you certainly can advocate with them and ask them if the agency does not place the children where you believe they should be placed, that I can weigh into that at some future date. But I am not in a position today to interfere with that decision. I can tell you that when children are placed with the agency for care and supervision, the agency is responsible for their well-being in those various placements. So they have to make sure that the children remain safe wherever it is that they're placed. And I can assure you they take that responsibility very seriously.
Okay, so they didn't put in a report. Did CPS do a medical background check on August before they stuck her over there in their home with all those dogs with her skin condition?
I have no idea, ma'am. But like I said, I can't interfere with that decision today. I can do so only upon conducting a placement hearing. But your concerns have been voiced, they've been heard. I'm sure the agency will be duly attentive to any concerns that you raise.
Okay.
Your Honor, August is being seen at Mott's Children's Hospital today.
Yeah, we offered to take her, and Emily said that she was going to get back with us to take our daughter because we offered to take her. She said she would speak to Farah, and we have not heard anything from Emily since.
Yeah, well, your children have been removed from your care, so there's no way that you're going to be taking any of the children anywhere for the time being.
No, she asked us the night that she came to our home when she said that I did not have the right to have my lawyer present. Would I be willing to take August to the emergency room? We said yes. She said she would speak to Farah. She never called us back to take August in. We have not heard nothing from Emily. Only thing we heard from Emily is that I don't know yet until yesterday. We have agreed with everything that Emily has asked of us, and they took my daughter and put her over there, but Don and Lene refused to allow us to take Kylan in for a heart murmur. Even after Scott spoke to him, they still didn't allow Kylan to go. So they thought that that would be the proper placement to put him. And that's a serious medical condition.
I am sure the agency will do everything reasonable and necessary to make sure that these children are all well cared for and their needs are addressed. I cannot interfere with those decisions today. So we will resume this preliminary hearing next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Plan on that being here in my courtroom unless the agency informs you otherwise. Did either of you have any other questions for me today?
Yes, they said that we will be addressing parenting time or visitations today.
Yes. What is your recommendation for parenting time?
At this time, we recommend parenting time be suspended.
Is there any, and I realize your petition seeks termination, but is there any reason parenting time would pose a danger to the children if supervised by the agency?
Our main concern is that while Kylan was in the hospital and was visited by both parents, the hospital staff had noticed another bruise on Kylan's body after this visit.
You're saying both parents, and how many times did you ask me, did I go see Kylan? Because I was never up. I was up there 1 hour, and then as soon as we get on the highway, we get home, and they stated that we couldn't come back up there. So that was not both parents. When I was up there, we were greeted by 2 doctors who stayed in the room with a nurse. You never asked me how many times did I even attend the hospital because I didn't, which you knew because you came to my home and had Samuel come here as well. And you did not put that in the report. Not once have you asked me.
Judge LaFlamme, can I intervene?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So we received a phone call from the U of M hospital that on Friday, the 1st, I believe it was, that after a visit sometime later, they noticed a new bruise on Kai, and they asked him what had occurred. Now, obviously, Kai's verbal skills at his age are not, of a 10-year-old or whatever, but so he had said, they asked him, did your parents hurt you? Now, obviously that's a leading question, but he said yes. So they contacted the U of M hospital police. And so the U of M hospital police are currently looking into that situation coordinating with our JPD here with the initial allegations. So that's why at this time, with that information we received from U of M, we are asking for the visits to be suspended.
Yeah, that's false. I see that's exactly what I'm saying. Neither one of you ever asked me. You're trying to say something that I have done or Samuel have done when nobody asked me how many times I was up there or even if I was there. You're just assuming everything.
I appreciate that you dispute the facts, ma'am. But while there's an investigation ongoing, I am going to suspend parenting time. We will address it again next Tuesday when you have attorneys present who will be able to advise you and make arguments on your behalf. But until next Tuesday, parenting time will be suspended.
Okay, and one more question. It's not put in the report that me and Samuel agreed with Emily to remove our kids when we didn't have to? How come that wasn't stated that we agreed to that and has been trying to work with Emily as much as we can? And she's been leading and lying. Now she didn't say nothing in the report about us taking my kids to their aunt.
Those will be issues that I will certainly be able to address at a trial. And certainly those will be things you'll want to bring to the attention of your attorneys.
Okay, so it'll be 2 weeks now, so we won't be able to even attempt to get visitation until next Tuesday?
I'm suspending visits, and I will address visits again next Tuesday when all of the attorneys are present. Okay, that does conclude our hearing today. We will see you back here 10 o'clock next Tuesday, unless you hear otherwise. The only possibility would be is if Judge Rapley ends up handling both of these cases, the hearing will be on Wednesday, which is when she does her neglect hearings. But for now, just assume it's going to be in front of me next Tuesday, 10 o'clock. Okay?
Oh, okay. Can I, one more, is the report of August going to be back from the hospital?
We don't have any control over that, but if it is done, we'll certainly have it.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all. That concludes